Thanks for joining Veiled Mystic today as we explore the lore of Yuki-onna. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. Yuki-onna, Mysteries of the Snow Woman Cryptid. Across the winter landscape of Japanese folklore prowls the ghostly figure of a woman blending into blizzards and frosted forests. With skin pale as ice and black hair blending into the void of night amid swirling flurries, her crimson lips and dark eyes stand out piercingly. This ephemeral spectral entity is Yuki-onna, the Snow Woman or Snow Lady of Japanese myth come to life in modern paranormal sightings. Origins in folklore and legends. The earliest documented tales of Yuki-onna emerged during the Edo period in published Japanese literature from the 18th century onward. But oral legends likely describe sightings reaching back centuries as villagers encountered this winter wraith prowling snowy regions. In traditional stories, Yuki-onna appears on snowy nights as a tall, beautiful woman with long black hair and bluish skin reminiscent of a drowned corpse. She floats across the frozen landscape often dressed in white kimonos or robes that further obscure her chilling presence drifting amid falling snow. Despite her stunning if frightening appearance, legends warn that a glimpse of Yuki-onna portends frozen death for unsuspecting witnesses caught unaware by snow squalls. At best, surviving victims describe becoming partially paralyzed or overpowered by her eerie gaze. With obscurities veiling her ghostly origins, motives, and nature, Yuki-onna remains an ephemeral mystery difficult capturing except through fleeting sightings when conditions align just so to permit her nebulous form coalescing. Only her menacing aura persists as tangible evidence she is more than a bad blizzard dream. Modern paranormal encounters. While legends keep her memory alive culturally, sporadic sightings suggest Yuki-onna manifests physically even today by those venturing into icy mountain wildernesses. Haunting echoes of ancient folklore seem haunt those remote peaks and forests during midwinter darkness. Survivor reports describe a shape emerging from swirling snowfall with long dark hair partially concealing ghostly facial features matching artistic depictions of snow women in classical artwork. Bright crimson lips stand out against blue-tinged skin, with some claiming her mouth drips vivid blood staining otherwise pure snow at her feet. A piercing scream sometimes accompanies her appearance, with frightening feminine moaning joining mountain winds to chill witnesses further. While she glides smoothly over deep snow without sinking, victims describe becoming immobilized by strange freezing paralysis upon glimpsing the spectral woman. Some who previously dismissed legends as exaggerated myths recanted their skepticism after subsequent sightings matching lore exactly. Though typically vanishing quickly back into icy mists, Yuki-onna leaves those recalling her presence disturbed and shaken to the core. All evidence melts away with the morning sun except memories haunting those unfortunate or lucky few catching her passing by. Paranormal researchers now document and investigate modern Yuki-onna accounts using forensics equipment sifting for traces possibly missed by cursory analyses. Efforts establishing her true nature as either corporeal or purely ethereal being continue advancing alongside cryptozoology studies into unknown specimens. Theories on her origins and nature. Lacking much folk history beyond frightening encounters, speculation abounds concerning Yuki-onna's validity as either literal frost demon or some unclassified environmental anomaly left miscategorized as supernatural because better scientific explanations remained absent when traditions first originated. Some theories propose a flesh and blood basis behind regional legends. An elusive species occupying remote frozen mountain peaks seems plausible considering persistent witness accounts defying casual dismissal. But science still lacks evidence directly supporting this conjecture. Perhaps indigenous Japanese megafauna integrating spiritual attributes over generations of mythology eventually morphed into a singular snow woman archetype through oral traditions framing collective sightings. Similar cryptozoological precedents exist worldwide where fantastical descriptions enshroud biological creatures. Meteorological phenomena offer another angle, postulating that peculiar electromagnetic field conditions could manifest visible light apparitions including floating human shapes seemingly belonging to spectral beings. However, linking exact mechanisms remains challenging. Interdimensional origins provide another common explanation for transient entities like Yuki-onna. Just as UFO sightings suggest ultradimensional portals temporarily pierce spacetime fabric permitting temporary materialization, the same external membranes may fluctuate permitting Yuki-onna's fleeting embodiment across planes. Her modern legend's durability indicates some kernel of truth awaiting discovery. Whether literally haunting Japan's snowy peaks or manifesting through imaginative projections of belief, Yuki-onna persists, chillingly bewitching the human psyche. Notable encounters across history. Spanning generations and geographical regions, eyewitnesses continually validate Yuki-onna's enduring mystery through profoundly visceral encounters amplified by snowfall isolation. Select accounts provide deeper perspective on her timeless menace shadowing wilderness domains. Ghost sightings during 1960s expeditions. During multiple Japanese alpine climbing missions across the 1960s, various participants reported sighting a ghostly woman matching artistic depictions of Yuki-onna floating across high-elevation landscapes where no other human presence seemed plausible. Though never interacting directly with witnesses, the reputed apparition left tracks leading deep into remote terrain before vanishing. Some climbers found disturbing feminine moans echoing as wind gusts strengthened. She has haunted those peaks for decades since initial documentation. Skiers' paralysis in 1988 snowstorm. A university ski team practicing runs after fresh winter storms saw their final member immobilized in place shouting frantically as dusk encroached in 1988. Responding quickly, they discovered his rigid body seized by mysterious forces as his gaze fixated terrified towards a nearby wooded ridge. Following, his panicked eyeline revealed only wind-blown snowflakes until sudden darkness swallowed the already gloomy evening. After helping their paralyzed teammate slowly regain muscle control and retreat to base facilities, the shaken group concurred nothing natural overwhelmed his nervous system so intensely. Recent night vision captures. Seeking clearer observations, cryptozoology crews monitoring remote forests through darkness using thermal vision gear captured human-like heat signatures amid blizzard conditions conforming to expected body proportions. But surprisingly, emanating temperatures seemed lower than surrounding ambient cellar levels. As investigators attempted approaching the snow woman shape, she seemed responding by gliding into denser forest without sunk footsteps. Unfortunately, heavy precipitation obscured footage clarity, and they lost track moments later. Still, modern technology offers renewed chances documenting her presence more definitively through scientific evidence. These landmark incidents represent a small sample among numerous chilling tales from across decades. And continuity between generations points strongly towards some underlying phenomenon manifesting regularly but evading explanations beyond frightening folklore, aware of humanity's frailty against sublime and different natural forces. Attempts towards documentation and protecting victims. Research groups make slow progress collecting documentation as proof confirming legendary accounts accurately reflect a tangible phenomenon beyond superstition or hoaxes. These efforts also aim mitigating threats the enigmatic being poses should she prove physically real rather than a projected imaginary bogeyman. Scientific field study limitations. Unfortunately, consistently monitoring probable areas for manifestations remains impractical across vast remote terrain only accessible during short annual windows. Yuki-onna also seems avoiding human proximity through an almost prescient wariness towards containment attempts or possible exploitation. With eyewitnesses largely overwhelmed by her sheer unexpected presence, forensic clues dissolve quickly without carefully orchestrated intervention plans requiring resources stretching most organizations currently. Approaching her directly risks life and sanity of members according to legends, further hampering documentation goals. Still, broader outreach campaigns give officials prompt alerts following fresh sightings for rapid response interventions squeezing faithfully within tight operational constraints. Travel precautions and survival guidance. Lacking sufficient containment strategies, officials focused issuing amplified warnings for people venturing into higher risk zones historically associated with Yuki-onna over the centuries. Simple precautions remind travelers regarding proper emergency provisions and fallbacks if conditions suddenly deteriorate. Recommendations also cover best practices responding to potential encounters, including avoidance of pursuing spectral figures no matter how alluring. And guidance urges maintaining composure and group cohesion rather than splitting up in stressful moments that leave lost wanderers totally exposed. While some criticize such guidance for indulging superstitious myths counterproductively, agencies reason better safeguarding victims and widening information networks outweighs tangible downsides to acknowledging legendary cases. Protecting adventurers remains the priority unless evidence shifts assessments. Ongoing mysteries and challenges in cryptid recognition. The Snow Woman's ephemeral life cycle escaping easy classifications means recognition as a legitimate phenomenon stays limited. But consistency in sightings warrants elevating awareness and adjusting permeability around narrow definitions for parsing oddities. Sociology of the supernatural. While popular visual media keeps legends vibrantly alive, authoritative institutions cling tighter to conservative conventions, dismissing the supernatural broadly. This restricts transitioning phenomena like Yuki-onna towards formal evaluation pathways and resource allocation for understanding origins. Regardless whether ultimately natural or paranormal in essence, her reliable manifestation indicates environmental variables interacting uniquely. And exploring those conditional dynamics may reveal fascinating insights on geology, meteorology, ball lightning, or even group hallucination psychology. Upstream hurdles blocking legitimate phenomenon candidates. Even entering proper data collection channels causes negligent ignorance of potentially hazardous situations or rare species requiring conservation efforts before extinction occurs unseen. Paths towards official classification. Elevating validity of supernatural entities despite majority skepticism requires patient evidence gathering until weight overcomes resistance and signals cut through dismissive noise. Tentative classification opens research routes previously deemed absurd pursue. Cryptozoology already attempts this slow credibility march towards global recognition as a genuine field despite most covered specimens remaining unacknowledged by authoritative science institutions currently. But precedents confirm the long game, eventually rewarding rightfully those casting light before mainstream thought deems reasonable acknowledging. Regardless whether Yuki-onna or any mysterious beings ultimately flesh external or just mirrored projections of humankind's inner shadow, compassion demands respecting dangers posed by the unknown. And wisdom means acknowledging how little we truly grasp. With open minds and empathy, resolution comes in time. Conclusion: winter's winding way. Like stumbling through maze-like blizzard whiteout conditions, the disorienting nature of wrapping evidence definitively around Yuki-onna seems designed purposefully resisting external cages capture her symbolic power. Efforts directly confronting her mystery often end disastrously, according miraculous tales of luck alone sparing bold interlopers foolish enough testing boundaries consider taboo for good reason. This elusive mistress winter's whims slips scientific nets and back into folkloric fantasy where less rigid rationale explains phenomena mirroring life's ephemeral dances death constantly. Yet she leaves enough faint footprints suggesting successful tracking waits days ahead when conditions align just right. Until worldwide establishment greets Yuki-onna directly as ambassador her enchanted domain, may all respect legendary warnings heeding respectful distance cherish her fleeting beauty from its proper place admiring nature's might, lest we join countless souls fate forgot trespassing mythic tolls. For this realm churns relentlessly beyond mortal comprehension, and the Snow Woman glides eternal through imagination's frigid veils bewitching reason.